Welcome to a brief excursion into the world of CodeMeter License Central. Let's first take a look at the overall process. What does the overview of operations look like? Integrate once, deliver many is our slogan. This means that as a software vendor, you integrate the protection and licensing of your software directly into the software itself. And on the other hand, you integrate the management and delivery of licenses into your company's existing process. At the end of the day, the customer ultimately receives the encrypted software, ideally with all the features you want to make available to them, along with the corresponding licenses that enable them to use the software exactly as they purchased it. What does this mean for you as a software vendor? As mentioned, you handle the delivery. You can decide whether to deliver the licenses in a license container in the form of a dongle, as a software license tied to the hardware characteristics of the computer, or even as a cloud license. If your software always has a cloud connection, you can store the licenses in the cloud as well. You can choose from our pre-configured license models, such as Features on Demand model, subscription models, maintenance contracts, or pay-per-use models. Additionally, you can create your own license models using our toolbox. CodeMeter License Central itself serves as a management, administration, and delivery tool for your licenses. The delivery process is briefly illustrated here. In the center, you see License Central. You, as the software vendor, are on the left side, while the end user, who is supposed to receive the licenses, is on the right side. The entire process takes place in 5 steps. On one side, orders are transferred to License Central. For example, if you're using an SAP system, you might have a bill of materials that includes your hardware, your software, and the corresponding license. This order is then sent to License Central. License Central itself contains all the items you want to sell, along with the corresponding definitions for the license entries. License Central's task is to generate a ticket ID for such an order. In Step 2, as shown in Step 3 below, this is represented as an alphanumeric combination separated by hyphens, which serves as an excellent password. This ticket is sent to the customer, who can then use it to retrieve the corresponding licenses from License Central. The customer can enter the ticket either via an integrated mechanism in your software, our license portal, or Web Depot. During this process, a fingerprint is generated either from the dongle itself or from the hardware properties of the target computer where a software license is to be activated. This fingerprint, along with the ticket, is sent to License Central. License Central identifies, based on the ticket, which licenses should be sent to the customer, generates a corresponding update file, and, in Step 5, sends this file back to the customer system. The update is immediately activated on the end system. With these 5 steps, everything necessary to activate a license on the target system is completed. Now let's take a look at this process live. I have prepared an application that I have already encrypted using AX Protector. When I try to run it, the corresponding message appears indicating there is no license available on my system. For the encryption, I use firm code 60010, our demo firm code, and set product code to 201,999. So how do I obtain a license? Let's take a closer look by diving into License Central. I've started it up here. We're using the License Central interface. I log into License Central, where I've already defined various items. This is our demo License Central, which you will also encounter when evaluating CodeMeter system. For instance, you can see a simple item here, an editor program with a single user license for which I've enabled all features. What does this look like in detail? Here the item number is specified. This is also the item number you'll find in the back-end system, such as the SAP system, since orders there are always created based on item numbers. We don't store any information about the customer directly. We only store all the details about what the license looks like. For example, I've configured this license to be activated either in a license container in the cloud, as a pure software license tied to the hardware of a computer, or on a dongle. The product code is inserted accordingly when I activate the item. That's all it takes to finalize such an item. Now, if I want to sell this item, which I will demonstrate by clicking Click Order, I'll specify a customer number. This customer number is transparent to us. We simply record that a license has been generated for this customer number and log the corresponding activation process for this customer. I select the corresponding license for the sample notepad, and here is an overview of it again. In the first step, an order ID is generated. Since I don't currently have a back-end system in place, this order ID is created by License Central. Normally, this would be provided directly as a parameter from the order system. When I click OK, I receive exactly what I needed: an activation code that the customer can later use to activate the license. Now let's switch perspectives from License Central, namely from you as the ISV, to the end customer. The customer, for example, receives the ticket ID either via email or printed on a delivery note, along with the URL where they can redeem it. Now I'll go to the interface where the customer activates their license. I enter the ticket code here, and as you can see, I have the sample notepad, single user, all features license. I can now activate this license. The license is configured so that it can be activated in any of these containers: either a dongle, a software license, or a cloud container. For this example, I'll select the software license, click Activate, and the process we just reviewed on the slide begins. Steps 1 through 5 are completed. Additionally, a receipt is sent back to License Central since I am online, and with that, the activation process on the customer's side is complete. The license is now available on the end user system. This process was very simple and seamless online. The same process can be carried out offline just as effectively as steps 4 and 5 we discussed involve only a file exchange. This can also be implemented on systems that are not connected to the internet. In such cases, the fingerprint file would be generated on the target computer. Using a tool, you would transfer the fingerprint file to an online computer and perform the same procedure there, but using the offline variant. Essentially, the entire activation process is just a file exchange. The fingerprint file and the ticket are sent to License Central, and the update file is returned and applied accordingly. Now let's take another look at what our application says. By now, we have successfully activated the corresponding license with product code 201,999 on our computer, and as you can see, the application is now working. Now back to the presentation and a final look at the integration of License Central into the overall ecosystem. On one side, you as the ISV, on the other side, your user who is meant to receive the license. This process can take place either on-premise, directly on the customer's target system, or via a cloud-based approach, where you offer software to your customers hosted in the cloud. On your side, There are various systems that License Central can be integrated with or connected to. These include CRM systems, ERP systems, and even e-commerce systems. On the customer side, there are various applications you offer, such as the software that runs directly on the end-user system, whether on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Linux RM, or even directly in the cloud. You have software as a service software that you can offer in the cloud, mobile applications that need to access licenses stored in the cloud, or private cloud solutions hosted at your customer's premises. We provide the different license containers I've already introduced, along with License Central. License Central can be operated in your data center, or you can host it using one of our available packages. The License Portal is a self-service application that sits in front of License Central. This means you can use it to manage and issue your licenses, while also empowering your customers to activate and manage their licenses independently through this portal. License Central can be used directly or integrated with these systems, through which orders are then transmitted to License Central. In our example, we created the order directly in License Central. For cloud licenses, these can be provisioned immediately after configuration, allowing the customer to access the cloud license directly. Alternatively, they can be activated in a container through the method we just demonstrated, using a browser, the user, and the ticket ID. And of course, your software, depending upon the option you've chosen, can access these licenses as needed. For CM Act licenses and CM dongle licenses, this can happen entirely without an internet connection. These licenses are truly on-premise and can be used without any connectivity. In the cloud, they are accessed via the internet and require a persistent connection. That concludes the information about License Central. Thank you very much, and goodbye.